Now, welcome back. Earlier, we looked at what is soil pollution. We defined soil pollution as the contamination of soil with harmful substances, and we say the harmful substances that contaminate the soil are termed or called contaminants or pollutants. We also looked at causes of soil pollution as listed on your screen. You can see excessive use of artificial fertilizer. You must use the word excessive because we don't say they are bad to use, but when used in excess they are dangerous. We also mentioned cause number 2 as excessive use of agricultural chemicals, things like pesticides, things like herbicides. When we use them too much, they end up in the soil to a level whereby they kill important soil microorganisms. And then the third cause of soil pollution, we mentioned throwing plastic wastes in the garden. And throwing plastic waste in the garden is dangerous, or it creates pollution in a way that once plastics accumulate in the garden, as a farmer you have no space to do what you call farming. And therefore it becomes very hard for you to carry out agricultural activities in using land that has a lot of plastic wastes. Then the last cause, we talked of throwing chemical bottles or chemical containers which contain chemicals in the farmland, and this is very dangerous actually, because already these bottles, they have what we call chemicals, and these chemicals get into the soil and they accumulate to a level that they will now interfere the working of soil microorganisms. So now what can we do to control these practices as farming practices which are able to help in control of soil pollution? But before that, I want to define or explain the meaning of control measures or safe soil pollution control practices. Now, practices meant to control soil pollution, we can explain them as the measures taken by the farmer to reduce pollutants in the soil. I'll type that for you. The measures taken by farmer to reduce pollutants in the soil. So those are the soil pollution control practices or soil pollution control measures. Actions a farmer takes, actions we take so that we reduce pollutants getting to the soil. That is what we call safe soil pollution control practices. Now, we might be asked a very simple question, very simple question. What are the causes of, what are the control measures, what are the control measures for soil pollution? How can we control soil pollution? And right away, without wasting time, the following are the measures farmers should take when they want to control soil pollution, and they are directly from the causes. Like the first cause was excessive use of artificial fertilizer. If the cause is excessive use of artificial fertilizer, then how do we control that? We can control that by saying farmers should use correct type and amount of fertilizer. Correct type and amount of fertilizer, because the problem was excessive use of fertilizer. So here we are regulating two things: the correct type and use of correct The same thing applies to excessive the cost number 2 was excessive use of agricultural chemicals, things like pesticides, things like herbicides. Now here that means farmers should do what? Farmers should use correct type and amount of agricultural chemicals, just from the way the courses were. That's why we're getting these answers. So the first thing, use the correct type and amount of both fertilizer, of course artificial, sorry, I forgot to write the word artificial here, artificial fertilizer, and then also use correct type and amount of agricultural chemicals. The third point, if you remember, the third course was throwing plastic containers or bottles in the farming land. So how do we control that? As farmers, farmers should carry out what we call safe disposal of plastic containers, safe disposal of plastic containers, bottles, and straws. These are the things that are in high numbers when it comes to disposal, unsafe disposal in the garden. You'll find most there are bottles, there are straws and containers. So farmers should consider that this throwing of plastic containers in the garden is unsafe. So the correct measure here is to come up with a safe way. Of course, that's disposal of plastic containers, bottles and straws. Then the last control measure or safe practice to control soil pollution is safe disposal of used agricultural chemical containers. So even some containers that have chemicals should be safely disposed. Then the last point, which I want you to be very keen, and is a very easy one, is practicing organic farming. I know most of you might not be knowing what organic farming is, but you must have mentioned this. This is farming without use of chemicals, especially growing of crops and rearing of livestock without using agricultural chemicals. So organic farming is the farming that does not involve any use of chemicals. Like if it is crop production, mostly you use organic manures. That's not an artificial fertilizer, because it can rot, it is biodegradable, it is very good to the environment. So that is the fifth practice of controlling soil pollution. Thank you so much.